Let's pause our analysis and toss it to
Maurice, who has a special guest with him. Over to you, Maurice.
Thank you so much, Nazi. We are with world number 3, Fabiano Caruana, after what was an enterprising opening that ended up being a draw. Fabi, we were intrigued by your opening moves. Of course, it's your one white in the classical game. So let's just go into a couple of the details, if you don't mind, because we're super curious. First of all, this move A3 that seemed to give him some pause. Tell us about that move.
Yeah, it's very rare. I mean, maybe he knew something about it because he was himself experimenting. Like, he played bishop d3 against Sam Savian, which is also a very rare move. I mean, bishop b3 is the main line, but the theory there is so developed that it's maybe necessary to look for some rare alternatives like this, which, I mean, it's definitely been seen before, but not at a very high level. And Black can play in a huge variety of ways here. Black can basically make any move, and it's okay. You can play bishop b7, you can play queen b6. All the moves are more or less okay, but he played in a very critical way. And yeah, the engine shows that you can play queen b6. I mean, the point of h4 is just that, here white loses a pawn with this tactic. So h4 renews the idea of knight bd4, and this is very critical as well. This is a very, very complicated position.
Is this something you had looked at, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I knew something, but of course there's so many possibilities that it's difficult to keep everything in your head. I mean, Black can also castle and then kind of invite an attack here with g4, and it's also some mess. I mean, probably won't play this line again, so it can something like this was, or this I think was quite fun.
You're calling this fun? Like, what is this?
No, this is actually one of the engines lines. Is this one? So there are some kind of fun lines, but logically, Black will not castle here because it's very scary to allow bishop takes h7 threats, and okay, you can play h6, but you don't really want to do this. So Levon played a natural move.
You felt h5 was natural? When Gary saw this move, he was standing next to me. He had to go closer to the pad to see the move h5 land on the board. He was like, "What is this?" He actually said that if it was back in the day, by Vinnick's day, they would have kicked the players out of the tournament. That's how strongly he felt about h5.
Well, objectively, h5, I knew the move exists, and it's just as fine as any other move. I mean,
wow. Okay.
When you actually feed it to a strong engine, whether Black plays queen b6 or castle or h5 or f6, it's all about the same evaluation. But this move, I didn't remember exactly any details because it wasn't one of the more critical moves. So you're kind of more scared about moves like queen b6 or castle, where Black also can fight for an advantage if White plays poorly. And here, it's not too dangerous for White, but it's a little bit hard to understand. Like, you can play rook h3, you can play bishop e2. You're kind of waiting to take on d4. This move also, I think, is completely fine. And yeah, I thought that maybe I shouldn't be taking, like maybe I should wait with bishop e2, but I couldn't quite. It'll look very similar if Black does the same thing, but maybe there's some subtleties. But yeah, he played knight d4, and here I suddenly, I wanted to sack the pawn with bishop e3, but didn't really like this kind of position. Let's say queen f3, knight c5, bishop d7, g4, h4. I thought maybe I could play this, but I really didn't seem clear to me at all. Like queen c7, for example, I didn't know how to evaluate this position. I see the engine shows like some advantage for White.
Knight b5, but
like knight b5, take knight d7. I mean, it is very concrete because I'm down a pawn, e5 is hanging, queen f2.
Was your concern that pawn just being down a pawn in such a critical game? You don't want to lose a classical game here because it's going to be a disaster.
I mean, I was trying to play objectively. I wasn't thinking about, if I wanted to avoid risk, I could have maybe played a different variation. But I wasn't thinking about avoiding risk. I just didn't see how to continue. I mean, I saw f5 was kind of critical, but I couldn't evaluate the position here. Mm-hmm. And it still doesn't seem clear. Like, even what the engine shows, queen a5, okay, of course, it's very risky for Black too to put the bishop on f8, but
a lot of space, those pawns.
Yeah. On the other hand, the bishop isn't trapped forever. I mean, Black plays knight e4 and the bishop gets out. So, yeah, this one just didn't really seem clear to me. And I wasn't happy to play G3, but...
That was my next question. But this, or the alternative, which is G3, with that rook stuck on H3, it just didn't seem like the two things went together.
Yeah, my feeling was that I'd kind of... Well, first of all, it is kind of an equal position from the beginning, so it wasn't like I knew that I had an advantage or something. And the other thing was that I felt like maybe I had taken on D4 too prematurely, and that it was kind of equalish here. And so, of course, I wasn't happy to do this, but I thought, like, I didn't really see how to continue after I sacked the pawn, and it is a responsible decision. Here I was a bit surprised he didn't go for this, which actually really annoyed me because he provokes a weakness, and C3 is very weak now. He took too tempi to do so, but like let's say I played bishop C2, yeah, he plays rook C8, for example, and knight E4 comes, and I was a bit concerned that I was slightly worse. So I was very relieved when he took.
And the game went into a totally different direction and kind of solidified. Were there any other major moments after this?
I was thinking maybe I should play knight B5, but okay, the engine shows it's absolutely dead equal. Basically, I want to get, like, if I can get something like this.
Yeah, sure.
And then play king D2, knight C2, knight D4. My knight goes around a long
his
way.
bishop is just horrible.
It's probably still kind of equalish. But, like, what does it... King E7? Yeah, the thing is, like, I put my knight on D6, he just takes and plays king E8. And my bishop really should be on D4 to maybe hope for a tiny... Like, if the bishop was on D4, I play king D2, I play rook G4, and I can hope for some kind of long-term initiative.
Yeah, but this just settled down pretty dramatically. Let me ask you, great opening, enterprising opening play, risky play, but it didn't quite work out. Maybe you had a chance to play more aggressively. What is the feeling when something like this happens with the white pieces, knowing you have to play black tomorrow? Do you feel a little disappointed in how the result went? Or at least not necessarily the result, but the game, the flow of the game.
I mean, very minor disappointment at the moment, but yeah, it's a pretty normal result. You see a lot of draws at this level. Maybe unfortunately, but people tend to be rather solid, and it's only when people take like big risks that the game can sometimes go out of control. Yeah, maybe I should have sacked the pawn. It wasn't clear to me. It wasn't. Perhaps it was a misevaluation, but I don't think it was such an easy decision.
All right. Well, good luck in your game tomorrow.
Thank you.
Actually, Yasser, I'm hearing that Yasser has a question. Let me hear.
Yeah, Maurice, if you could ask Fabi, Nazi and I have been discussing whether 6 points for a win inspires playing too risky, or is 6 points too much? Because if you lose the game, you could lose the match.
Got it. Yasser's asking, they were discussing this, the point value of 6. Is it such a big number that you may play risky chess to get the 6, or really pump the brakes to not lose 6 points?
Well, I don't know. I'm trying not to think about it in terms of the scoring system. I know it has its own dynamics, this kind of match where the classical is part of it and rapid is part of it. It's not like you win in classical and you win the match, or vice versa. But of course, if someone goes 1.5 in the classical and goes up 6 points, it's pretty close to feeling like you're winning the match. But yeah, I'm trying not to think about it. I mean, if you start thinking about the scoring right at the beginning of the match and the match situation before it even begins, then it's probably a recipe to play poorly, or it affects your play. So I'm trying not to do that.
Just got to play chess, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you so
Fabi's
much.
done, and he'll come back with the black pieces tomorrow.
Thank you indeed, Maurice.